Well, let me tell you something, brother.
We're a bunch of marks.
Woo! Oh, yeah!
Welcome to Marks and Smarks. My name is Jose Sanz. I'm here with
Hollywood Marcus.
And
Big Ralph.
We're here to talk about this week in wrestling, what could have been, what should have been, and what was. All right, we started off this pay-per-view in points with Ralph in the lead at 47, myself coming in second with 45, and Hollywood is in last place with 43. We've added a new player to the game, Andre, who we started off with the person with the lowest score, which would be Hollywood at this point. At this point. We don't know how it's going to end up, or do we?
We might.
We might. And
the way he's going.
Andre got 43 to start off. Let's say, in the whole, what did you guys think of the pay-per-view?
It was all right. It wasn't anything special except for a couple of matches. But for the most part, it was kind of slow pace for me.
I rewatched it, and after rewatching it, I wasn't as critical of it as I was the first time. So
why
I
did,
think
why did you rewatch it?
I wanted to make sure that when I talked about it, I knew what I was talking about, and it was fresh in my memory.
All right. Well, I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was just there. Had some decent matches in it. Couple I'm extremely happy with because of how it made me come out in the point spread, but we'll get to that.
Of course.
So let's start off with the kickoff show. We got Andrade Cien Almas defeating Sin Cara. I believe we all picked Andrade to win. What did you guys think of that match?
Go ahead, Big Ralph.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did not watch it. I caught it right at the beginning of the pay-per-view. I missed out on the kickoff. No, I lied. I did watch Sanity versus New Day, but I did not watch Cien Almas. So.
When I originally saw it, I thought, hey, this is a pretty good match. Look at Sin Cara and Cien Almas go. On my second viewing, I was like, dude, this match is kind of garbage. It felt like Cien Almas was really good. Like he was ready to go, but he had to match Sin Cara's pace. And Sin Cara, this version of Sin Cara, kind of feels like a botch monkey. So I was kind of like, something's not gelling at all. Like it didn't seem fluid.
A botch monkey. Okay.
A botch monkey.
I've never heard that. You're gonna have to explain to us.
A botch monkey is what a spot monkey tries. Well, you know what a spot monkey is, right?
Let's say I do. To you, Ralph.
Let's say I do, but for everyone else, you can explain.
A spot monkey is somebody who does moves, flashy moves, and that's pretty much all their matches are spots. Things to make them look flashy and important when really they're not. So, that's what a spot monkey is. Now, a botch monkey is somebody who wants to be a spot monkey but can't pull off the moves properly. And that's what I felt like Sin Cara did. Like, he couldn't pull off any of the moves he was trying to do. It looked clunky and just all over the place. It wasn't good.
Okay.
And I'm blaming Sin Cara because of that.
I didn't watch the match, so I'm going to have to agree with you on your statements of the match.
Well, with that statement, if you guys watched Smackdown this past week, Cien Almas wrestled AJ Styles in a non-title match. What do you guys think? I thought that match was actually pretty good for SmackDown Live.
Yeah, it was a lot better than Sin Cara, if you saw it.
Yes, that one was a good match. I like his match against Gargano better, but for a non-title match, it was actually really good.
All right, so the second kickoff match was Sanity defeating the New Day in a tables match, which I thought was one of the better matches of the night. If we're going to encompass the whole kickoff show with it, I believe we all picked Sanity to win. I said Nikki Cross was going to get involved. I didn't get that extra point. So, but overall, good match.
Yeah. I was surprised and pleasantly surprised by that match.
Pleasantly? Isn't pleasantly
Pleasant.
the word you want to say, but pleasantly?
Pleasantly is all the same thing, man.
No, it's not. It's
It
like
is.
cement and cement.
It means the same thing.
It's like tomato and tomato. It doesn't mean the same
Yeah.
thing.
No, you're trolling now. Stop.
Ah.
You are trolling now.
Don't
So
be that guy.
you were pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
And what did you think of the match between Kofi and Eric Young on SmackDown this past week?
Didn't see it. I don't remember it.
Okay,
It was,
so
I thought it was a great match.
yeah, they actually did a really good job. But then again, you put anybody with the New Day, they seem to do well. But Sanity also had some great matches in NXT, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens with them.
It was real good. I liked the match. I liked the physicality. It was nice to see New Day get serious. Of course, they came out with their typical thing that they do, but watching them actually get serious and fight Sanity and match their crazy, I was like, oh, this is nice. I like this.
Come on, man. Everyone likes pancakes.
Nah.
Yeah,
Waffles.
only haters like waffles.
Okay. Well, I'm a hater. I admit it.
You're Corey Graves.
Not that bad. He's all over the place.
So we begin the actual show, I guess, at 7 o'clock, which the first match of that was the B Team defeating the Deleter of Worlds to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I think we all picked Deleter of Worlds to win. Nobody thought the B Team would get, but they did. It wasn't a bad match. It was okay. I kind of enjoyed the whole Bray Wyatt Bo Dallas showdown. That was kind of fun.
Look, I'm gonna throw a stupid pun out there. It was a B rating.
Ah,
Oh,
boo.
Wow.
Where's my soundboard? Boo.
I can't.
It was good. It just wasn't A material.
I can't say anything to that. It's just whatever.
All right.
I was surprised by the outcome, though. It took me for a loop.
Well, I was surprised that they went all the way with it, which is what they did. I said, "Oh, their streak's going to come to an end. It's going to be them." But maybe they got better plans for the Deleter of Worlds, and that's why they took it away.
Hopefully.
I don't really care about the SmackDown. Or, I'm sorry, the Raw tag team titles. They're kind of like joke titles to me. I feel like where the title really doesn't mean as much as the people who have the titles. Like, they're both joke teams. So what prestige does the title really have when you have people like Sheamus and Cesaro, the Usos, not really on shows anymore? So I know it just feels weird. Like, I liked the match, but I don't like that it was for a title.
All right, but it opens up the Revival to come in. A little believable there to go against the B Team, maybe to bring a little more prestige to their title, and then they can put on a pretty
AOP.
good program if you get AOP involved or even Sanity. So hopefully that's where they're going with it.
If they let them be the Revival that we know they can be, yeah.
All right, so after that we had Finn Balor defeating Constable Baron Corbin. Let's see, we all picked Finn for that one, so we all got points. That was a decent match. Showed Corbin being the aggressor most of the time, and then Finn winning in the end. So it was fun. Kind of gives Finn a good win that he needs. He needs something to push him to make him into the main event status. So, like that match. Next match I know Hollywood's going to love, which was Carmella defeating Asuka to remain the SmackDown Women's title, or the Women's Champion, with James Ellsworth up in the Shark Tank, or Shark Cage, Of course, doing a nice little bit where he gets hung up, which was fun, I have to say. It was a fun match. But nobody was ready for Asuka but the Shark Cage.
And I don't understand that match.
So now Asuka's going around, says she beat Charlotte Flair 2 times, she beat Asuka 2 times, that she's the princess of Staten Island, but she should also be the princess of Smackdown Live. Now in that match...
That match was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of fun at the same time.
But I don't understand how Asuka gets her eye off the ball and goes for, what's his name? No Chin.
Because we all want, everybody wants to see him get beat up, so of course. So unfortunately, Hollywood picked Asuka in this one, and everybody else picked Carmella, so Hollywood did not get the point.
No points for me.
No points for you.
I did call it that he was going to get out of the cage, though, but I didn't go for the extra point.
No, you did not. You did get extra points later on.
Yes.
The match after that was a very quick one, which we saw Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Jeff Hardy to become the new U.S. champion. Before they started the bell, Shinsuke low blows Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy says, "Yeah, I'm ready." Then a Kinshasa, and that's it. New champ. Then all of a sudden we hear Randy Orton, who then attacks Jeff Hardy. We go to the rematch that was this past Tuesday on SmackDown Live. We saw a better match, actually, between Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy, an actual match. I was actually happy with the match. But in that match, we also see Randy Orton get involved, makes it a disqualification when you think Jeff Hardy's going to win, and then just really, as I think Ralph put it, Attitude Era destroyed Jeff Hardy.
It was really bad.
That pulling of his ear was horrible.
Made you cringe, right?
It did.
Did you
I don't
see
know how
them
they
going
were able
for
to
the...
get away with that?
Yeah, but did you guys see them going for such a quick win?
I didn't. I thought they were going to have a better match. Maybe not a super long match, but at least a decent length sized match. But then again, it does play to Nakamura with the low blow, so...
I think Jeff is going to take time off, too.
I don't know. It seems like they're putting him in a program straight with Randy Orton.
Oh, that's right.
But I don't know. They were saying the whole time, it's like, oh, he's been fighting off a knee injury. So maybe one more match with Randy Orton where Orton just destroys him and then, quote-unquote, puts him on the shelf for a while so that he could recuperate.
Yeah, but then does Orton go for the U.S. title? Like, how does that even work? Because now he's obviously a heel. Nakamura's a heel. So what do you do with that?
Oh, you have the Apex Predator who just does whatever he wants. And then you have the King of Low Blows. So, I mean, I could see them putting a good match regardless of whether they're both heels or not.
I thought the SmackDown... You mean Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy? Put on a good match?
Well, no, I meant Randy Orton and Nakamura.
Oh. They feuded before. They was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more, though. Because the match was so short and you have a 4-hour pay-per-view. Well, 6-hour if you count the pre-show.
Which we do.
So I'm thinking you have at least 5.5 hours of wrestling. And this could have easily gone on the SmackDown TV show, the title change, all of that. Why have us sit there and diminish a pay-per-view when you can save it for a later date? I mean, I'm already here Sunday, sitting in front of a TV, watching this. Like, give me something worth watching if I'm going to sit here for that long of a time span.
See, I see it more as building up to the Nakamura heel persona than they gave me a match. Like, I don't feel like they gave me a match. I felt like they gave me a segment to build up for his heel persona.
Well, the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
See,
go ahead.
for me, pay-per-views have always been something to have payoffs on. So you build up the story during the show, and then the pay-per-view is like, oh, I have to see the pay-per-view to see how the conclusion or how the major angle happens. You know what I'm saying? And if you do that, what Nakamura did as far as a low blow on the pay-per-view, it's kind of like, that could have gone on TV. Like, why are you putting something like that on a pay-per-view when it's supposed to be like the actual match, the physicality, everything else? Like, I don't understand.
Well, it also gives you the idea that you have to tune in to see what happens on SmackDown Live. So, wait, oh man, Randy just did this. It was a quick, is he going to ask for the rematch, which they already announced. They said, oh, he's going for the rematch on SmackDown Live. So, if you're going to watch that, you're going to go, hey, I want to see what happens to the rest of the storyline on SmackDown Live.
I guess you're right, but I mean, do you remember back when pay-per-views were like $50 each? And you watched Raw and SmackDown anyway just to see what happened? I'm pretty sure a lot of people still don't have the network, so I'm going to tune in anyway to see who won, who's still the champion, you know? And then you pull that off. You pull that angle with Orton doing what he did.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, in the end, we all picked Nakamura. We all got points for that one.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke... Oh, I spelled that wrong. Shinsuka? Damn. So, the next match, we saw Kevin Owens defeating Braun Strowman in a steel cage match. Now, since I was the only one who had faith in Kevin Owens, I am the only one who got points for this matter. This matter. I'm back at work. This match.
So, you consider him being thrown off the top of a steel cage having faith in him?
I did. I had faith that he would win the match. How he won is irrelevant. That he won, that's what makes the difference.
A win is a win, no matter how you win.
Exactly.
If that's what you want to believe, I will let you believe that.
Oh, you'll let me? Ha! Ha! You gonna let me live, too? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say all that. That's kind of threatening. I mean,
I know. But you seem like you have some type of control over me. Is that what you're saying? Is that
why?
I am under your influence?
I am not the wife. I don't have control over you.
You're damn right. You're not the wife. and if she were here, she would know. Since she's not here, I'm in charge, okay?
Wow. One of your kids is going to hear you say that and tell her, and then that's going to be all.
No, none of my kids nor my wife listen to this, so I can talk as much crap as I want. They download it, I think.
I hope so. Give us all the hits we can get because we need them.
So after the dramatic rise and fall of Kevin Owens, we saw another dramatic rise and fall of the Team Hell No, where we saw in an earlier segment the Bludgeon Brothers jump Team Hell No prior to their match, which it was then stated that Kane had broken his ankle. The match starts. We see the Bludgeon Brothers defeat Team Hell No. At one point, we have Kane coming down in a brace, trying to fight them, and in the end, they didn't. So you're still your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. You have the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, I believe we all picked Team Hell No to win this. We all were wrong.
Yep.
I think this was a good move anyway. I think that Kane wasn't going to do it in the long run. And then we had the wonderful segment this past week on SmackDown Live where The Miz did a eulogy for Team Hell No, and then Daniel Bryan comes and just breaks it up. So they're heading to SummerSlam with the match we all want to see, and that's Miz versus Daniel Bryan.
Finally.
Well, it's a SummerSlam event, so, it's their second biggest pay-per-view. So, of course, you're going to give a great match, and this will be a great match. I'm excited to see how they build up to it, and I think the Miz is going to do great to do that. His shenanigans. Yeah,
because I felt like Daniel Bryan was being wasted. I understand that you have AJ and all these people in the main event scene right now, and you kind of... His reintroduction into SmackDown kind of shuffled everything up. But being wasted in this tag team and not winning the championship tournament. I'm just like, oh, you could be doing so much more with Daniel Bryan right now, with the caliber of competitor that he is and how much people like him. But having him go against Miz is something everybody has wanted to see for a long time. So I'm happy with how this all turned out, him versus Miz.
Yeah, the build-up's going to be great. I think those two have a good chemistry in that, and the Miz is just going to go off, and it'll be interesting. So I can't wait.
This has been, what, a year and a half in the making?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So then we see the next match, which is Bobby Lashley defeating Roman Reigns to see who's the new big dog of the yard. We all picked, let's see. No, Andre picked Reigns. We three picked Lashley. I thought this was actually a pretty good Roman Reigns match, and a Bobby Lashley match for all that for all intents and purposes. Since I haven't watched any other matches that Bobby Lashley was in prior to this. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I mean, it's two powerhouses, so there's just only so much that they can do. But I liked it, especially the fact that Lashley won. I'm happy Lashley won. I'll repeat that. I'm happy that Reigns lost. Then again, and excuse my French, they screwed it all up next Monday. But what are you going to do?
Well, let's get to that. What Ralph is referring to is that this past week on Raw, they had 2 triple threat matches to see who will face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. They had one triple threat match was won by Bobby Lashley. The other was won by Roman Reigns. Now they're going to meet next week on Monday night to see who will face Brock Lesnar. The question is, will they pull the trigger again on Bobby Lashley getting the win on Roman Reigns, or will we see Reigns come out with the victory? Because, we can't beat Reigns 2 times in a row.
Because he's the golden boy.
I think it doesn't matter either way, and here's why. I think the people aren't going to be behind either Reigns or Lesnar if it ends up being Lesnar versus Reigns. And I don't think that Bobby Lashley has the charisma or the ability to carry a company or be the top person. Because if you watch that match, they weren't really cheering Bobby Lashley, but they were booing Roman Reigns. So even if Lashley does win Monday, when he faces Brock, I think it really is not going to matter because he's not going to be the guy, quote unquote.
I think they would cheer more for Lashley Lesnar than they would for Reigns Lesnar, though.
But then we have Strowman, who's probably going to cash in anyway.
That's where I was heading. I would like to see Reigns versus Lesnar more, only because I want the Monster in the Bank to just come in and wreck both of them and just utterly destroy them.
The monster among briefcases.
Yes. Who has a monster of a briefcase?
We'll see. I mean, we're all expecting Braun to cash in at SummerSlam. He kind of said it already this past week on Raw, so we can only hope that it makes it a little more interesting so people are not booing that match too bad at SummerSlam. If it's Reigns and Lesnar 4 at this point. Next match was the WWE Championship match where we saw AJ Styles defeating Rusev. So no Rusev Day with a champion. The reason being because Aiden English decided he was going to take the top turnbuckle off from one of the corners. Rusev ended up hitting his head on it, and AJ got him with a phenomenal forearm for the win. Before that happened, it was actually a great match. It was a great AJ match, a great Rusev match. I was very happy with the match. The only person who picked Rusev to win in this was Ralph. I don't know why.
Yeah. Hey, I was close if it wasn't for Aiden English.
It was from the heart. This pick was from the heart.
If they had kept him in the back, I honestly think that Rusev could have won. Aiden English cost me the point.
I'm giving this match of the night.
I'll agree with that. Match of the night on this one.
like I said, like I rewatched it, and rewatching it the second time, I was more impressed with it. I was like, hey, this match is actually really good. I wonder why it's not the main event, which it should have been, but, you know.
Well, I have a comment on that, but the reason why I think this was so good is because Rusev was selling the injury, making it like he was going through the pain. AJ was selling all of Rusev's stuff, making sure it looked like he was the dominant force too. So you had a back and forth that was just great. It was a very good, solid match. They didn't too much. They didn't do too little. It was very equal. And they had an ending that made Rusev still look strong because it wasn't AJ that actually pinned him. It was the idea behind Aiden English doing what he did and him not knowing, hitting his head, and that's what caused him. Because, you know, I think they're holding Rusev for something more.
What more could you get than the world title?
Well, I'm thinking that, you know, you get him out of the world title and have something, and then have him go back in, and I think we'll have a feel-good win it, because I think I think they're turning him full face, and I think he needs to get rid of Aiden to do that.
So do you
Does
think
he go back? Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think in the interim they have Samoa Joe be number one contender?
Maybe. I think that would be a good way to go. Because, I mean, Aiden English, the only reason why Rusev technically is heels, because Aiden English comes out and puts down the town they're in, or the area they are, or where they're at, or something in his intro, right? So
Yeah,
that really
is
the only thing that's making Rusev heel at this point.
Yeah, because Rusev barely has any interaction with the crowd anymore.
Right. And the fact that Rusev was fighting AJ with an injury, trying to come back, and it was Aiden English who took the turnbuckle off, not Rusev, is making me think that they're trying to turn Rusev full face and get rid of the Aiden English character with him.
All right, now, having said that, I have questions for both of you.
Go ahead. I have a question after your question.
Indeed.
That's a lot of questions.
All right, so I'm going to give 3 examples of what I'm talking about. The first example is Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. Clearly, Braun Strowman has to be the heel in this scenario. Think about the match. Think about everything that happened. Kevin Owens was pictured as the underdog babyface that stands up to the bully, gets a couple of shots in, but ultimately loses because he's just outclassed, right?
Right.
Strowman wrestled strictly like a heel, threw him off the top of the cage, bullied him, made fun of him, etc. That's not something a babyface does. Example number 2 is Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. If you watch that match, Roman Reigns wrestles like a typical heel. He takes his time, he's methodical, he taunts. Lashley is more of the explosive, fire, comeback, because Roman Reigns dominated most of that match. Now, third example, which we just talked about, Rusev and AJ. Rusev is positioned as a face, but his buddy won't let him. Now, out of all these scenarios, do you think WWE will change any of that? Because obviously they have to know how these people come across, the things they do, their antics. Why are these people in the position they are as far as being faces and heels when they should be opposite?
So your question is, do we think that WWE will change any of that? Is that the question?
Yes, and if not, why not?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Strowman Owens. Strowman is, in my mind, a Stone Cold-like character. He's a face that will do unspeakable things. Do you think that Stone Cold coming down with a freaking beer truck and pushing and supporting everybody with beer is a face move?
That's no. after he's been taunted and pushed to that Strowman's just a bully.
Well, I mean, it's still, and if you think about it, let's go from where Kevin Owens started. Kevin Owens got everybody involved in that one match where they all try to bury Strowman under ladders. Remember that?
I remember that, but wouldn't you? I mean, he's Braun Strowman.
Yeah. But is that a face or a heel move?
That's a smart move, I'm going to say, but I see your point. It's a heel move.
All right, so it's a heel move. And if you go by Kevin Owens' prior record, how many times has he turned on his buddies?
All the time.
All the time. So the fact that Kevin Owens wants to be his buddy, it makes you think, no, this guy's lying. Now, does he take it? Now, I would say instead of him being a bully, I think Braun Strowman is pretty much the ultimate troll at this point.
So you think he's taking your role?
I think he was just messing with him because he liked him. But then they got into a fight, and he had to throw him off the top of the cage. I think I could blow holes in my theory.
I just think that Braun Strowman doesn't like being touched, so he didn't like it when
he tried to hug
Kevin
him.
Owens.
Yeah, so I don't know. I see in the Braun Strowman example, I have a hard time putting him in a face and a heel side. And I'm going to go with this with the same thing as the Roman Reigns character. The Braun Strowman character treads the line. People love his antics and what he does, so he's a face. But what he does is really heel. That's just a Stone Cold persona. Now, your Roman Reigns example is another example where Reigns has not changed his style since coming out with the Shield, right?
Right.
So you can't say, is he a face, is he a heel? He is what he is. He's just Roman Reigns. And if you think of the Undertaker match in that sense, he was the heel in that match as well.
True, because there's no way you're going to cheer Reigns against the Taker.
Right. So, but in other instances, he's the face. So he's not a distinguishable, is he heel, is he face? He's just what he is to whoever at that point. Now, yes, I agree the Lashley character was more of a face in that, but Roman Reigns has been wrestling the same way for 2-3 years now? It's not like he's changed his style.
Which is why he's not getting over.
I understand, but that they're keeping him that way because they're not going to distinguish him ever.
They should.
They should. Maybe sooner or later they will. Maybe when Brock's out of the picture and they need a dominant heel, they'll pull the trigger. But at this point,
Galloway, to be honest with you.
You mean McIntyre?
Yeah, Galloway, McIntyre, same person.
So what was the other example? You said Rusev and Aiden, which is what I kind of said I agreed with. It's really Aiden that's making him the heel. He's pretty much a face at this point. I think that would change. I think they could change that one. But the other two, you can't change.
It's the way that Braun Strowman does things where I can see how you see that he's a heel, but when you see him, it doesn't look like he's doing it out of malice. He's just having fun. Now it's at the expense of poor Kevin Owens. But if you think about it, Kevin Owens really has it coming to him.
Dude, throwing somebody off of a steel cage, knocking somebody off of a stage in a porta potty, that's not fun. That's like reckless abandonment. Like, you go to jail for that type of stuff in the real world.
Yeah, but they're not in the real world, so that was the Miz. The Miz was in the real world. Sorry, I had to say it.
I see.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize.
Don't apologize. It's okay. If Joe can make dad jokes, you could do the same thing.
Oh, damn. You know what? I just realized I skipped to the end match, and I didn't talk about the Raw Women's Championship.
Sorry.
All right, so before AJ Styles defeated Rusev, we had Alexa Bliss defeating Nia Jax in an Extreme Rule match for the Raw Women's Championship. We all picked Alexa. Ralph just said that Ronda would get involved, and of course, if you saw the match, Ronda did get involved.
Bonus points.
The only problem I had with this match was Mickie James's shoes. Now, I know this is usually a Hollywood thing, where you look at an outfit.
I noticed it. I was like, how the hell are you going to move around in those shoes?
She was moving in those high heels all around the ring and running and doing spots, and I'm thinking, you're going to break your ankle or you're going to break those shoes or something's going to happen. I was like, why would she wear those shoes?
She was working it.
She was, I don't know what she was working. She shouldn't have been wearing those shoes.
See, I had two problems with this match. My first is, when Mickie James starts getting involved and handing the weapons, Natalia's just in the background doing nothing. It's like, help, poor Nia. Second problem is, I honestly thought Nia should have been more dominant in the match. I do think that the way they went with Alexa winning is nice, and it plays to her character. But I think that Nia should have been at least a little more dominant in that match.
I can see that point, actually. I mean, she started out dominant. They were handing her weapons, and they weren't working. That was kind of fun.
That was fun, but we had seen that, I think, the week before.
Yeah, but
So
still,
it wasn't something like the shock value in a pay-per-view.
Oh, well, I mean, freaking Nia yelling at her and her running away and him grabbing the hair. They've done that before, but they still did that spot, So it's entertainment, And Bliss's strong suit is not her in-ring work. It's what she does on the outside.
I mean, it probably could be. I mean, she's really strong and she's in shape. She probably could if she wanted to, but I don't think they want her to because I think they're trying to get longevity out of her.
Yeah, I agree. And people want to see Ronda beat up Alexa.
I was
for
going to say
Hollywood.
something, but never mind.
Hollywood doesn't want to see that.
Nah. Oh, well, never mind. I'm not going to say what I want to say.
Maybe you need to go to the convention tomorrow and you could see a couple of things.
Oh, she's going to...
No, she's not there. She's not there.
Oh. I was like, what?
But you could call those women anything you want.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I'm not very knowledgeable in that area.
Nope.
Wait.
But I'll do my
that's
research.
What you were talking about at work. I understand now.
Yes, that's what he was talking about at work.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
yeah, no. All right, so the last match, which people are saying should not have been the last match because it should have been the WWE Champion, was the Intercontinental Championship match, which was an Iron Man match, 30 minutes. Ziggler defeating Seth Rollins. The only person that picked Seth was myself because I thought he wasn't going to go for the Universal title and we might as well keep the IC title on him. I was wrong. I lost that point. Now, the point being that this shouldn't have been the last match. I disagree. It should have. It's 30 minutes to watch a match. That can bring a whole showdown in the middle. And I think if you're going 30 minutes and you want that title to be as prestigious as it is, and Rollins being on the roll that he was, it should be at the end.
Agreed.
Yeah, because if you think of it, all the Iron Man matches that we've had in WWE were most likely last.
well,
It's just a... Huh?
The Shawn Michaels Bret Hart match, but that was for the title, so I don't know.
That was for the title. Well, this is for a title. It wasn't the main title, but it was the secondary title, but still a title. Plus, you had one at Smackdown. I think Kurt Angle wrestled someone in a Iron Man match. That was at the end. I believe it was Brock Lesnar, actually.
The one on SmackDown, right?
Right, and that was at the end. You can't have 30 minutes of people wrestling in the middle of the card. It just doesn't make sense. And
the way I look at it is that Raw's your top show, and if Raw's your top show and the Intercontinental title's the top title on that show, then it's pretty much like your world title. So yeah, it can go last from that logic.
Agreed. Especially since your quote-unquote top title is not really ever there. It's on hiatus.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, it's sad. But hopefully they'll correct that after SummerSlam. We'll see. So the tally. Out of 12 matches, Hollywood, Ralph, and Andre picked 8 correctly. Myself, I got 9, which was pretty good. So, the final tally. Tally?
Tally.
Tally.
Natalia?
I don't know. Natalia? So, coming in at... tied at third. Let's do it that way. Tied at third is Hollywood and Andre with 51. Coming in second with only 1 point behind is myself at 54. And still, we've got King Ralph at 55. Still leading the pack. But only 1 point am I missing till I get to the next tier.
That counted the extra point, right?
It did count the extra point.
Okay.
Oh, look at you checking in.
Hey,
I know you got to check in. I'm looking off of Hollywood's chart, so you have to double check it.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm double checking, because I'm like, okay, if I was 2 points ahead, and I got 8 points from the matches, plus 1 point extra.
Well, the 8 points is with the 1 point extra.
Oh, okay, so I only got 7 matches, correct?
Yeah, you only got 7. You
Okay.
got CN, Sanity, Finn, Lashley, Carmella, Alexa, Nakamura, and Ziggler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? He's right, Mr. Hollywood.
What happened?
You said 8 total and then 55, but yet he's got 8 total matches. Does the extra point doesn't give him 9?
Who got the
I
extra
guess
point?
not.
Hold on.
Ralph got the extra point for Ronda. Look,
Let me-
all right.
let me-
CN, Sanity, Finn, Lashley, Carmella, Alexa, Nakamura, Ziggler. That's 8 matches he's won.
Hold on.
And then he gets an extra point. That's 9.
So wait. So he got CN, Sanity, Finn, Lashley, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then he has the Ronda. Oh shit! Hold on.
You know what? You're right, Ralph. It was good that you
Let me give him
questioned this.
9, and then hold on. 1, 2,
It's fine. I'll stay with 1
3,
point ahead. I'm
4,
still
That's
winning.
okay.
6, 7, 8,
A win is a win, so.
9. So you got 9. Ralph got 9. So it's 54 to 56, and let me double check me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So whatever. Ralph missed a point. It's all
So
good.
56, Ralph in the lead. 54, I'm still 2 behind, and 51 with Hollywood and Andre.
Yeah, man. All that.
Let us know what you think of Extreme Rules. You can let us know through our Facebook, which is at YouGeekly, Marks and Smarks under Twitter, and on our website, yougeekly.com, which is UGEEKLY.com. Let us know what you think. Couple of noting things. I don't know, do you have guys anything, or do you have guys anything? What kind of English am I speaking? Do you have anything else that
Tired
happened
English.
this week? That happened this week that was really good. I have like one thing that I saw that I thought was really good. The number 1 contenders match on NXT with Kairi Sane defeating Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross. That was a pretty good match.
You just got her Candice LeRae.
Candice. Why it's not?
Just the way you said it, I was like, all right.
Well, if you could say pleasant, I can say Candice.
Candice?
You could say semen instead
No.
of cement.
I don't know. Did anybody see that match?
Question.
I saw it. I loved it.
Well, and Lacey Evans Dakota Kai was pretty good too.
That was she's getting a lot better, Lacey Evans. I was really impressed by her.
Question. Did you guys get the message about Ciampa being the
Spoilers.
NXT champion? Oh. It
But yeah, I got it.
happened this week, didn't it?
Mhm.
Wasn't it this week?
No, it wasn't this
It was
week. They're
taped.
supposed to fight next
Oh.
week. It's pre-taped.
I
I
didn't
did
watch
not
it this
get
week,
the.
that's why.
I did not get the message. I am now upset that you told me, and I feel like I'm going to have to cut this out of the podcast
Okay, that's fine.
because I have the power.
The editing power.
Yes.
You
So
only have the editing power because your wife has all the other powers.
exactly.
Just like your wife has all the powers, right?
More like Apollo has more power.
Jesus.
That's rough.
Usually this week we talk about our main event, but unfortunately we're not going to do this. Or fortunately, this is a something different we're trying. Since between the three of us we have been watching wrestling for almost 20 plus years, I guess you can consider us the Smarks. So we thought that it might be interesting to see what a Mark might think. Now, we've decided to, this person is with Hollywood's little friend, or is it official? Are we girlfriend, boyfriend here? Is that it? I mean, he doesn't introduce you like that. He just calls you the Liz, so we don't know.
The cook.
Oh, the cook, that's right.
All right, well, I'll be the Liz. I like that.
You could be the Liz, you could be the cook, you could be whatever you want, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, guys, well, we're going to go with the Liz, all right? I'm very new to the wrestling world. I see it as a pretty much a subculture, and it was something I was never a part of until I met Marcus, and he's crazy about it. He always gets me to try to watch it. I do have other friends who watch wrestling who are, pretty involved and pretty religious about it. Like, every week, they don't go anywhere because wrestling's on. They have people over because wrestling's on. So, again, I'm new to this, and I decided to watch a couple matches, and today I'm here with you Geekly to talk about the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fight that was this past April.
Tell us what you thought of it. And are any questions that you might have?
Well, when I was watching the video, or because I watched it on YouTube, I didn't watch it on TV or anything, it kind of just starts off with Roman Reigns walking out, and I'm obviously not really familiar with any wrestlers. I don't know their backstory. I don't know their beefs with other wrestlers. So I kind of just wrote down and made notes for myself on kind of like what I was thinking and my opinions as the match was happening. So during this fight, the first person that walks out is Roman Reigns, and he's new to me, I think. I don't know. I've watched a couple other matches with Marcus, and there are some people I remember. Again, I don't know them well, but I remember faces. I remember, if they have kind of a crazy getup, I usually remember them by that. Or if it's something like, okay, well, what's this guy's deal? So it starts out.
New Japan than anything else, I think.
What was that?
I've shown you more New Japan than anything else.
Okay. So.
That meant absolutely nothing to her.
I'm sorry.
She's like, all right, Marcus, whatever you say.
Yeah, I mean, that thing I
you can tell the difference at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying.
No, it's great. Keep going.
All right, and I want you guys, okay, so I'm going to kind of tell you the things I noticed in the match and the things that I kind of commented on in my own head. I just wrote down whatever I was thinking while this match was going on. So it's going to get, so it's probably going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little, like, probably, I don't know, out of the box. I don't know. I just wanted my real thoughts because I am a total outsider. So here it goes.
Well, it can't be any different than Marcus commenting on Jinder Mahal's nipples, so I think we're okay.
It's going to be along those lines, okay? So I hope that that's acceptable.
That's perfectly fine. We get it all the time. We have got Marcus on this podcast.
He has the nipples. They disappear.
Oh, you showed me a clip of that. And then I remember my friend Carrie, who is a huge, and they also have a podcast, by the way, they both showed me a video of it, and they were commenting on it, and yeah, when this guy flexes, his nipples disappear.
I told you, I'm not the only one that noticed.
You're not the only one. She noticed too, I remember, because you asked her about it, because she's a big fan, and you both agreed that his nipples pull a Houdini, whatever.
See, the Liz, it's fine if a girl notices, it's just kind of weird when Hollywood notices.
I noticed everything.
But everybody's showing their nipples, like everybody. So it's like, when somebody comes out and their nipples aren't there, it's like, well, okay. Anyways. Why'd you get us on the topic of nipples?
Sorry.
Straight to that. All right.
Mention Ginger, so.
Mention Ginger?
No. I mentioned Jinder.
Oh, gender. Oh, okay. All right. So the way this video started out was Roman Reigns coming out first. So he's walking out. So there's like all these lights. It's like a laser light show, and I'm assuming that's kind of like that's just part of the appeal of the matches. And he walks out, and I'm like, all right, yeah, this guy looks like a wrestler. Okay. But he's got like a stone face on, and this is a champion match, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes.
from my understanding, he's trying to win the champion title from Brock Lesnar.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess that's a lot of pressure. So because I'll tell you why when I get to the part where Brock Lesnar comes out, because I'm just like, wow, all right. So Reigns comes out, and he's just a stone face. He's not showing any emotion. He's just kind of slowly walking out, like barely swinging his arms. You can't even tell if there's any emotion going on under there. He's just kind of scanning the crowds, looking around, and the announcer guys are talking about it, and they're like, oh, like, this is a big fight, and I don't know what else they're saying. They're like, this is a lot of pressure, and this guy's just like not showing anything. He's not pumped up. He's not like getting the crowd going. He just walks straight out, and he's just like, all right, I'm here. That's what it seemed like to me. So, and I couldn't help but notice that he comes out looking like he's soaking wet, like he just took a shower and like walked right out, just like slipped into whatever he was gonna wear. I mean, what are those leather panties that they wear? I don't know. And I'm looking at him, and I guess maybe the video quality wasn't very good because I had it like full screen, and I was like, is he wet, like all wet, or is he like greasy? Did they like grease him up before he went out there to maybe like some kind of like weird advantage? Like maybe the guy can't grab onto him or just slip right out and he can, But and then he gets into the ring, and like his whole demeanor is just kind of throwing me off. It's like all these crazy lights, shows, people cheering, and he's just walking around the ring with his mouth open. And I'm like, is he okay? I was like, I don't understand. Okay, well, I guess cool, man. Thanks for that, and thanks for coming out. So,
Are you okay?
are you okay? All right. So then Brock comes out, and he's another one I'm not familiar with. I don't think I've seen him before. And this guy looks like prehistoric to me. I'm like, whoa! Like, look at that thing. And he comes out, and he's a little more frisky. He's got his big belt on. He's jumping around. Like, he's just like, I got this.
I don't know if anybody mentioned that Brock Lesnar was frisky.
Well, like,
does.
compared to how Roman Reigns walked out onto it was like, he had a little more going on there. He looked kind of pissed, like he was ready for this. You gotta look a little pissed off. I mean, you're about to fight somebody. And, all right, so fast forward. We get to the match starting. There really wasn't much shit talk. They just stared at each other a bunch. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I just was like, all right, so we're staring. Do you feel anything yet? Nope. You keep staring. Nope, I don't feel anything. All right, well, let's just do this thing then. So match starts, and I immediately laughed because this huge prehistoric-looking dude, Brock Lesnar, with no neck, by the way. I don't know how that happened. Like, maybe somebody pile-drived him too hard. I'm thinking it might be something along the lines of, like, he went full rhinoceros on Roman Reigns, like, just, like, folded in half and ran straight at him as fast as he could. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, dude, this guy just turned into, like, a wild animal. And really, the only response Reigns has is he, like, slaps him in the mouth a couple times. And I'm just like, oh, my God. Oh, my God, I laughed so hard. And I was like, And really one of my comments was, all right, well, if you're going to slap him in the mouth and stuff, like, somebody throw him a bar of soap.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know, it's just like, I don't know, if that's what you're going to do, just, like, shove some soap in his mouth, show him who's boss, you know? I don't know.
I never thought of that before.
Or pretty much like, pick up that bar of soap.
Oh, no. That's not what I meant. That's definitely not what I meant.
Well, but he just got out of the shower,
I was
so...
thinking that. I didn't want to say it.
I was like, yeah, rinse his mouth out with soap. And then from there, you see Roman Reigns just, you know, so slapping him in the mouth isn't really doing anything, because, I mean, this guy's a monster compared to Reigns. At least it seems like it to me. And so instead, Roman Reigns just, like, gives him all he's got into, like, a body check. And it works, you know, it throws Lesnar, like, across the stage. And I was like, all right. So at this point, I don't really know who's got the upper hand, who's going to win, because with these fights, you never know. You might think it's the bigger, stronger-looking person, but that's not necessarily true. It could be, you know, the slightly smaller, faster guy. I don't know. And I don't even know anything about these two guys. I don't know their fighting style, and I don't know their history, so I was completely just, like, taking it moment by moment. All right, so I got like 5 pages of notes on this, so I'm kind of just going down the line here.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You did, like, due diligence on this. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was impressed when she told me that. I was like, that's my girl.
Look, I was not coming into this with nothing. You know, I don't want to be like, well, yeah, I watched it. Yeah, so I wanted to have something for you guys here, so... and I feel as if doing this, I pay attention to the details, and it will help me learn something, because that's kind of what this is. It's learning something. It's getting involved in something that, you know, Marcus is interested in, and a lot of people are interested in. So, you know, why not? I put some effort in.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate
You're welcome. All right, so... All right. Roman Reigns checks Lesnar, and then Lesnar strikes back, and it sounds like I don't know what's with all the face work, but he hits Reigns, and it just sounds like he broke his face, and I don't know, because like his face hit the floor, and it didn't look good. I was like, you know what, that looked like you felt something there. That didn't look, and you know, I always comment to Marcus, and you can hate me for this, but I'm like, some of this sometimes it just looks so fake. And I know a big part of it is acting. So sometimes, just as somebody who wasn't really a fan, I was like not buying it. But that faceplant, that looked like he felt it. So I actually really appreciated that. I was like, yeah, all right, we're feeling something. That's good, guys. All right, so let's see. Gotta go to the next page. Oh, and my comment on that one was the way he hit his face, and I think he, like, hit it on the side of a table. I was like, I think he's going to have a permanent crease in his face. Even the announcers were just like, oh, my God, like, right, and like, oh, he should not get up, his face, oh. And I was like, you know what, I have to agree with you there. And then we go back to when... Reigns walked out, and I was just like, why does he look like he's soaking wet or, like, covered in grease? Like, I don't know. Is that just me? Does anybody else see that? Do they all come out with that wet look? I mean,
Yeah.
Lesnar's bald. Is it supposed to be like, I'm already sweaty?
It's usually the guys with the long hair that have the wet look.
It is.
It's like, yeah, the joke is, or the thing is they put like some type of conditioner or something in their hair to make it look so wet and full before they run out and do a match.
It depends on who it is.
Because I guess it gets so hot with those lights that it could get all frizzy and crazy.
Oh.
So they wet it down and try to keep it weighed down.
But I understand it. My wife looks at Dean Ambrose. She's like, he should take a shower. He looks like he hasn't taken a shower in weeks.
Yeah, it's like this greasy look. So I'm sitting here, and Lesnar is just tossing Reigns around like nothing, because obviously he's just a beast.
He's prehistoric.
And he's what?
He's prehistoric.
Yeah, he's prehistoric. So, like, you know, he's huge. You know, he's, I don't know, maybe he's carnivorous. I don't know. Maybe he's Reigns is different. I don't know. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, with how greasy this guy looks, and I mean, I'm thinking, like, he pulled out, like, that extra virgin olive oil. Like, how is this guy even, like, extra virgin olive oil? And for this fight, because, you know, it's the big match, and I'm like, how is Lesnar even holding on to this guy? Like, how is he not just, like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was trying to hold on to him, and he just, like, popped right out of his grasp and just, like, flew across the stage. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But he's getting his hands on him. And, yeah, you know, at this point, Reigns really isn't looking good. He's not really making a comeback. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, you need some motivation. You need a second wind. You need a tornado right now. You need something. Like, you're just laying there like, all right, I'm still alive. I'm still conscious. Like, just whatever you're going to dish out next, just do it. Just do it already. That's kind of what it felt like. And then Lesnar's just, like, constantly pushing him out of the ring, like, going out of the ring, tossing him around some more, and it's almost like he's just like, I don't care where we are, I'm gonna kick your butt. It doesn't matter. And, you know, they're right next to the crowd, and I'm just like, I think Lesnar's ready to just, like, grab a toddler from the crowd and just start beating Reigns with it.
He looked that pissed off?
He was starting to, because, like, the guy was on his back so much, and he kept trying to pin him down, and, you know, you don't even think the guy's, like, half conscious, and all of a sudden he's, like, out of the hold, and you're like, and I was like, oh my god, even I'm frustrated right now. How is this guy? It's the olive oil. He's just slipping right out of it. And then all of a sudden, Reigns comes back to life. He's back. Wait. Nope, he's got Lesnar down, no good, and he's laying there like, holy shit, I'm tired. That's what I got from this, like, one slight burst of Reigns trying to come back, and it was just like, ooh, nope, And that's when it looked like he was at his lowest point, and Marcus will appreciate this, he went Super Saiyan.
Yep.
And as quickly as he went Super Saiyan, he was on his back again. Ugh, I know. Oh, thanks. And you know, watching this match, I'm watching, like, I don't know who these guys are, like I said before, and I'm getting a feel for them, and I'm still sitting there wondering where Lesnar's neck is. Where does it start? Where does it end? Does he really have a neck, or is that just, like, some kind of muscular, like, I don't know. You guys notice that? He doesn't have a neck. It bothers me.
It's muscle. You get that really, muscular, you don't have a neck.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a neck. Some people don't have nipples. Whatever. Yeah. And so this is kind of where I came to my mid-match prediction based on how things were going. And for me at this point, it was, and I watched the video as it was playing. I don't know who won the match at this point. I didn't spoil it for myself or anything. And I'm like, all right, at this point, who do I think is going to win this? Lesnar has the title right now, and it really looks like he's going to keep it. Roman was not looking great. He really, besides those couple of, like, mouth slaps in the beginning, he didn't really get much hit with. Like, that was probably, like, the most exciting part for him, was like, woo, I slapped you in the mouth. And he's just dangling there. He's just, yeah, he looks like roadkill. And on top of that, he just, like, by probably a third of the way through the match and on, he's just laying there looking like he wants to take a nap. Like, I just got, like, you know, guys, I just got to go to sleep right now. Somebody tuck me in. I'm done. And I was like, and it was disappointing because it's like, come on, dude, like, get that motivation, get that second win, like, get up and slap him in the mouth again, like, do something. Like, get the soap. Somebody throw him a bar of soap if that's what it takes. Like, I mean, not in the perverted way, not in the jail sense. And so, you know, Lesnar's there, and it's really looking obvious at this point. It's looking like Lesnar's going to take it. Reigns has pretty much been down most of the time. And you're like, all right, so either he's got to get up and make a huge comeback, even though he's pretty much gotten the piss beaten out of him at this point, or, Lesnar's just got to take it. And so Lesnar pins him down again, obviously tries to get him for the 3 count, and obviously, again, at the last second, Reigns squeezes out of it olive oil. And Lesnar's pissed now. You hear him, you see him mouthing like "mother" or "mm-mm." And I laughed because I was just like, that's exactly what I was thinking. He just end this thing already. Just take it. And he really looks like, I think he just wants to rip this guy's arms off. But he can't because of the olive oil. And I don't know what happened, but then all of a sudden, Reigns had a bloody head wound, and I'm like, okay. In any of the matches I've watched with Marcus, I don't think I've seen any blood, and this one there was a good amount of blood. It was just kind of pouring. It was pouring out of his head down his arm, and then Lesnar just walks right over to him and picks him up, and he's got the blood all over him, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's so pissed. He's so pissed. He's ready to bathe in his blood. He's just trying. He's out for blood, and then again you see all of a sudden Reigns kind of
powers up.
Yeah, he I don't think he makes it to Super Saiyan, but he tries to power back up, because I think at this point this dude's bleeding and he can see it, and he's in survival mode. He's just like, all right. He gets up, he tries his best, and you know what? My prediction was correct. Lesnar keeps the title.
Wow, that was really good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
In the whole thing, as you're watching it, how invested were you in it? Were you up there with the ups and the downs? Did you really think or hope that maybe he came back, olive oil Reigns, or did you, how invested were you in it?
Extra virgin olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil. So how invested were you in the match?
I was pretty invested. From the beginning, I really had no idea who had the advantage, what types of things, I'm sure each wrestler has certain things that they like to do or that you see them do often.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what those things were. So, I was invested because I had no idea what to expect. So I watched very closely, and from some of the matches I've watched with Marcus, you'll think that the person kind of taking most of the hits is that's it for them. But then all of a sudden, after they've been down for a while, they come back and they kind of get the upper hand. So because of that formula, I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Right.
But because maybe this was kind of cheating, but I knew the match was 22 minutes long, and at 17 minutes, Reigns was still just laying there on his back. So
right.
Even at that point, I'm like, all right, well, you've got only a couple minutes to take down the guy who's only gotten his mouth slapped a couple times. So it's probably all greasy now too. So
I have a question, actually. Did you get to hear the crowd reaction in the video?
Maybe in the beginning, and
I was curious if the crowd reaction and how they were with the match would influence how you felt about what was going on.
I think so, because, and I don't know if the video was edited, the one I watched, because it didn't really have any filler to it. It was kind of all fighting.
If it was 23 minutes, it wasn't edited. It was the whole match.
It was only a 22-minute video, so are you sure it was the whole thing?
Yeah, it was the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got. I was just wondering in the middle, I always say when we're watching, because we watch all the time, sometimes the crowd and what they do in the background kind of influences what you feel about the match, if it's going to be a good match, if it's going to be a bad match. And sometimes a match could be really good, but if the crowd is just dull, then you think the match is bad. I was just curious, in you watching, for someone who doesn't know the backstory of all this, if the crowd influenced you in any way on how you felt how the match was going, or if it was a good match or a bad match.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say they did, and that really was in the very beginning. So as Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar did their walkout, I noticed I didn't really hear much of the crowd, and when Reigns got to the ring, he kind of like threw his arms up, and some fireworks went off, and I think people were booing him. I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah,
a little
probably.
bit.
They were booing him.
They were. So I'm like, all right, so I wasn't feeling it with the crowd. I definitely did notice that. When Brock Lesnar came out, it was better. I don't think I heard any booing. And when the guy he walked down with announced him.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah, him. He's obviously trying to get the crowd to like riled up and get excited, and it didn't really seem like it did anything. It was kind of like they weren't booing him, but they weren't like going crazy for him either. So I don't know. I think it was like, all right, let's just see what happens.
Right.
Well, should we go? Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
I think that it being a WrestleMania and that stadium being so big that maybe the crowd, the sound in the crowd wasn't going to be an influence as much as it would be in a smaller stadium. But the fact that you got the idea of Lesnar being a beast or a monster or somebody who's going to just come in and kick someone's ass, I mean, that portrayed well, and that Reigns is kind of an indifferent type character or one that doesn't really care. It's interesting how you take that perspective because, I mean, that's what Brock Lesnar is. He's the man who dominates. So the fact that you got that without knowing any backstory means that he did what he was supposed to do correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Now Reigns, there's always this debate on whether he's good or he's bad and who he is as a character. The fact that you couldn't figure it out and thought that pretty much he needed a shower and had too much olive oil was interesting as well, because it's like one of those things, like we watch it, we know what's going on, but when a person outside goes, well, I don't know, this guy doesn't look like he can, he's not gonna win because this guy's just kicking the crap out of him, So It's really interesting.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
Be wary, the Liz.
So, if you never saw wrestling before and then you saw this match, who would you say would be the good guy and who would be the bad guy?
I would have said that Lesnar was the bad guy.
Would you consider Reigns a good guy, or would you consider him neutral?
Well, I don't know if neutral's right. I mean, you're putting that in there because she said he had no facial reaction.
He looked like when he was in the ring before the match started and they were like glaring at each other, he looked concerned. Like, I kid you not, he was looking at Lesnar like, you broke my heart. That's what his face
You broke my heart. You didn't pick up the soap when I asked you to.
Oh my god.
Exactly. That's the feel I got. I was like, I don't understand this guy's face. I can't read what's going on.
I asked that because Roman is supposed to be a good guy, but people boo him. They don't like him because they feel like he's been pushed too hard on us, and we want to make our own decisions, not have somebody pushed on us by a corporation, right? And Lesnar is a guy where people are going to cheer him because they don't like Reigns, but they don't necessarily like him, because he's never really there. So that's why I asked that. I was like, okay, so if somebody who hasn't watched it before is watching it now, how would they characterize each person?
And you gotta know that Lesnar is a UFC fighter too, so his persona, what he does coming in, and how his mindset is something like a UFC fighter. So that's why you had that reaction that this guy's just gonna tear, because he's actually been in real fights.
He was a UFC heavyweight champion.
Yeah, so he's got a little extra to him because of that background as well. So did you think at one point that this was real, like he really wanted to tear this guy a new one?
Yeah, there was a few moments. I was like, oh my god, just rip his arms off and get this over with. Like, don't let him slip out of it again. Like, just end it.
Would you watch another match?
I think so.
But
Yeah.
does this? Do you understand the? I guess, like you said, there's a lot of a big community in this. Do you understand why people would enjoy this?
Well, she's watched it before with me, so.
Right, but when you're watching with somebody who's into it, you kind of tune out a little bit because they're the more excited, and you're excited for them. She had to watch this on her own without your influence. So
True.
if she's watching it on her own, would you watch something again, or would it pique your interest to see something else?
Yeah, I think it would. After watching that one match and paying close attention, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan now. I don't feel like I'm going to start following every match, but
Right.
I think if there was an interesting match and there was some cool stuff to see, maybe something different, maybe maybe the storyline kind of takes a climax of some kind, definitely.
All right.
Okay, so question.
Uh-oh.
What interests you more? Actual physicality, the wrestling itself, or the story? Because I showed you AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and you fell asleep.
I admit that I did.
Wow.
I did. I'm sorry. I will apologize for that.
No, it's okay.
It's fine.
We've
Yeah,
all fallen
and-
asleep to wrestling at some point in our lives, so don't worry about it.
I mean, Hollywood fell asleep to who was it?
Reigns and Samoa Joe, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I asked that because Nakamura and AJ was a pure wrestling match. It was one of those type of matches that was based off of the in-ring work and not really the storyline. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know the background in this one, so this is basically a fight for her as well. She got the story by watching how they were. So
Yeah, this
It's
was
a
all
different-
fight. The one this particular fight was all fight. They didn't talk to each other. They just stared at each other for a few minutes, and then they started fighting. There was really no monologue. There was no going back and forth. There was no pausing. No bringing other people in to talk crap. Any of that. It was all fight. And I think in the past, there's been some things I saw. I usually kind of find the fighting, because it's almost like it's like G-rated fighting, or like G-rated crap talking. So it's not really all that interesting to me as an adult. I think I'm like, all right, come on, you can come up with some nastier things to say than that. But obviously they can't, because it's a family type thing. So I guess for me, I was just like, all right, well, you really laid into them, didn't you?
right. I would be curious on how you would to watch a match if you saw, like, before, if you're watching one of these pay-per-views, there's a storyline, and usually before the match happens, they give you like a video package of what's happened in between this point to the point they're at now.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you saw that package before seeing a match. I wonder how that would influence you and give you a story behind the people and what they're going against, because that might be another dynamic that we want to see. Out of curiosity, because like you said, you're going into this with no idea whatsoever, and you already got the idea that this guy's going to rip this guy's head off, in sense.
Yeah, I know, because Marcus has talked to me about, or Hollywood. I'm sorry, I've been calling you by the wrong name.
That's okay. We call him Marcus.
Hollywood Marcus.
It's all there, man.
Holly Jigglywood Puff.
Probably, oh my
Hollywood
god.
Jigglypuff the third.
The one with the magic.
Magic. Oh my god. You're adorable. Marcus has explained some of the kind of conflicts between wrestlers, like especially the females. Like, well, two of them were best friends, and then something happened, and they were talking crap about the other one in the dressing room or something, and she
Right.
heard him, and I was like, oh, like that's actually kind of something I'd be interested in. It's like scandalous, And then how many people, in friendships, something like that happens, and they can just take them into a ring and fight them.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of an interesting thing. I guess depending on the type of storyline and the type of conflict or partnership between them, the relationships between all these characters would influence whether or not I'd be interested in those fights. But I do like a creative fight. I will say that, because I remember one of the first matches I ever watched, I think I was with Hollywood and my friend Carrie, and we were at her place watching a match, and somebody got, like, kicked in midair, and I was enthralled. I laughed so hard. I thought it was awesome, and I was like, that was great.
Right.
So I would prefer a more creative fight than, like, all the usual kind of, like the mouth slapping thing. I was like, what the hell?
Right.
And they weren't even getting very creative with what they were doing. It was just like, all right, I'm going to grab you, I'm going to push you onto the floor, I'm going to throw you into the barrier, I'm going to throw you back up into the ring, I'm going to pin you down. And it was a little repetitive. It wasn't very...
Right, interesting. It didn't have any ups and downs. It was just this guy beating up another guy.
Yeah, Reigns really didn't have much. He didn't have much fight in him. He wasn't frisky.
It wasn't frisky. Do you guys have any other questions?
No.
Not really. She pretty much explained everything.
Yeah.
Without us having to ask questions. She was very thorough. And
Right.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, Liz, what do you do? Do you have any things that you have on the internet?
I do, actually. I currently am trying to start a small business for myself where I make handmade jewelry. I'm trying to get up and coming on Instagram and YouTube as well, where I'm hoping to make tutorials on some of the things I made, because there's a big following out there for people. It's like a crafting community, people who make their own jewelry, and especially wire wrapping is a very sought after skill, because you can make some really beautiful things out of it, and when it's handmade, it's a little extra special. So anybody who's listening who would be interested in seeing any of the stuff I've made, you can follow me at allLizAllDay on Instagram. And if you wanted to check out my YouTube, my link is on there.
All right, that sounds great. Okay, so thank you for listening. And we're part of the Unique Geek Network, so look for us on our website, YouGeekly. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram under the same name. We're also on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and that's it, I think, right?
YouTube.
YouTube, all the places that are important. We want to thank Liz for joining us today and reviewing the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match from this past WrestleMania. And until next time, I'm Jose Sands. I'm here with
Hollywood Marcus
and
Big Ralph
and
the Liz.
I would say, see you next time.
Bye.
Good night.
And if you're not down with that,
Goodbye.